Hello, welcome to another video. Today I got the itch to do another Christmas illustration, so while I do that I'm going to do a little voiceover and you can watch me do the Christmas illustration. It's going to be a continuation of the Christmas cat that I was doing in the other videos. If you want to see the other videos I've done, the other illustrations I've done, and you haven't already, I'll link them in the video description and you can go and check them out after this video. But while I'm doing a little voiceover, I thought I would answer a question that was asked by Fiona in the YouTube comments after I did a shout out for questions that you might have. So Fiona asks, can we have a lesson please on how on earth you decide which features and mannerisms that people have that make the person you are drawing them? How do you hone in on their character? What makes you leave out the greater detail of the eye, etc.? Is this a style that you've always done, or is it just a way of drawing quickly that gives the essence? I'm intrigued, as putting in or leaving out is an obvious choice. The results, though, speak volumes. I love how much they convey. Thank you so much, Fiona, for asking that question. I did answer a little bit of it in the comments, but I thought I would take this opportunity to explain how, when I'm drawing people, I capture that essence, which, to be honest, it's only something I've managed to do in the last few months. If you don't already know, hello, I'm Emma. I'm an illustrator in Sheffield, and this year I've taken a step back from designing things just to sell. Taken a step back from that and said, right, this year I'm just going to focus on me. And that's included sketchbooking, it's included joining illustration courses, free and paid ones, and really investing time, energy, and in some cases money into finding me and finding my style. And really what I mean by year off is mentally I've given myself the space to step back, freedom from that negative reaction to things not going right. Because for me, when I was working in my small business, when I was designing things for products to sell in my indie business, there was always that pressure that I need to get this right because I'm selling it. So that's what I mean when I say year out and year off. So regarding the question, can we have a lesson on how on earth to decide which features or mannerisms people have that make the person you're drawing them? The answer I'm going to give is one that I've given in other videos, and it is to draw a lot. And it's the kind of answer that I wouldn't have liked before I took this year back, because it's like there's no shortcuts, but it doesn't have to be full of pressure. So I've taken a year out. At the beginning of the year, I found a free audio guide from the people at the Good Ship Illustration, and I'll link it in the video descriptions. When you listen to it, it's like really simple and really obvious, and it's very short as well. But this audio guide got me thinking about how I sketch, and when I tried it, when I followed their instructions, I realised I actually wasn't very good at observing. The basic idea around the audio guide is timing your sketches. They talk you through the timed sketches, and it's free, so I do recommend going to check it out. But really that as a starting place for my journey into developing my style, and I think I've actually got quite good at drawing people now. One of my favourite things to draw and sketch are people and trying to capture expression. But before this year, I didn't. In fact, when I got back into doing art in my adult life, I made myself a promise that I'll do art as long as I never draw people. And that was my promise to myself. That was me taking the pressure off so I could get back into art without the pressure of trying to add a person into my landscape drawings and absolutely messing it up, which I probably would have done. But I've broken that promise now. And since the beginning of this year, since finding that audio guide and since timing my sketches, I feel like I've developed so much. And it's the timing of the sketches which has been the key to allowing me to access sketches. So when I was timing my sketches, I found that I was less bothered about the end result. The end result could be messy and scribbly and not really looking like what I wanted it to, because I was focusing on seeing how much I could get done in 30 seconds, in 1 minute, in 5 minutes. Timing my sketches took the pressure off the end result, which meant that I could just play, I could just go with it. It was like a game to me. How much can I get down? Doesn't matter if it's scribbly, doesn't matter if it's messy. How can I get better at seeing what's there and transferring that onto the page in this very short time frame. I think, Fiona, that's the key that kind of started the ball rolling on me being able to capture character in my drawings of people. Because when you're timing your sketches, you don't have a lot of time to think, oh, how do their eyes really look? Oh, look at that thing they've got in their hair. Let's draw that really lovely. You just have to scribble what you see. And your brain and your hand naturally make shortcuts. It's like you don't even think about it. Like in your question, you said, what makes you leave out the greater detail of the eyes, etc. That wasn't a decision I made consciously. Through drawing every day, or almost every day, with time sketches and trying to do it quickly, and the time being the objective, so trying to get everything that I can, as much as I can, down in 30 seconds or 1 minute or 5 minutes, my brain made the shorthand, and that is how I do eyes now. If I'm doing a longer illustration, so for example, I've done a few illustrations of my cat Rolly, and when I've been sketching him in my sketchbook, I do the dots for eyes thing because I do time sketches in my sketchbook. But in my longer illustrations where I'm trying to bridge the gap between the kind of quick roughness of my sketchbooks and the more detail, slightly more detail of finished illustration. When I've been doing those kind of exploratory sketches and illustrations to try and bridge that gap, I have found that with Rolly especially, I do add a bit more detail to the eyes. So you'll notice in this illustration that I'm doing today, the eyes aren't dots, they're yellow circles with a black pupil. And I can't explain why that felt right to do something a bit more than a dot on those illustrations. But I'm still trying to work my way through finding an appropriate bridge between my quick sketchbook work and finished illustration that has the feel of a quick sketch, that hasn't had the life tidied out of it. And I'm only getting through that through practice. So some illustrations that I do, some of these more finished illustrations work better than other finished illustrations. But what I'm doing when I'm doing these finished illustrations, I'm taking my mindset from my sketchbooks into these finished illustrations. So rather than getting disheartened if they don't turn out right, I have taken my mindset from my sketchbooks, which are like, oh well, that hasn't worked, on to the next one. And I'm giving that to my finished illustrations. Because I think that's the key to getting any progress done in your drawings. It has been for me anyway. I think it all kind of fed into itself, so that the more I was focusing on how much I can get down in the time, the more I was actually drawing, and the more I was drawing, the better my hand-eye coordination and these shorthands that I was developing in my brain, the better they were getting. And the better they were getting, and the more I was drawing, the more I actually ended up liking the drawings I was making. And I'm trying now to take that into my finished illustrations, so there's another development on that. But to me, it all started with timed sketches, and I cannot recommend it enough. I really cannot recommend it enough. Remember, I can't teach you how to draw in your visual style. No one else can either. Your visual style, your visual narrative, your style is like your handwriting version of your drawing. So when you're a kid, when you're learning how to write, your teacher will show you, this is how you do A's, B's, C's, this is how you write neatly, stay within these lines, whatever. But once you've learned how to write, your own handwriting comes through. No matter how much your teacher tells you your writing is really messy, which they did with me a lot. But once you've learned how to write as a kid, you just develop your handwriting. People can tell that what you've written is yours because they recognise your handwriting. It's exactly the same with drawing. So you can do online courses, you can see how other people do it, but the best thing to do to find your own style and find your own shorthand and find how you draw a person and make them is by drawing lots Like I say, time sketches are great for this because you focus on the time rather than the end result. Therefore, you put lots and lots and lots of drawings out there, which you might not have done if you were very self-conscious about the end result. The less self-conscious you become, the more you draw in your own style and the more you get known for the style that you're drawing in. No one can tell you how to do that, but the method to finding out how to do that for me was time sketches and doing lots and lots of drawing. Now, I know I mentioned this Ira Glass quote in one of the last videos, but I do think it's worth saying again. If you're stuck now, if you're an artist, if you're a creative and you're stuck and you don't know where to go, this shows you're on the right path. Okay, so I'm going to read the quote by Ira Glass and I want you to listen to it, and then I want you to listen to it again because it's worth keeping in mind. By being stuck, it means you're on the right path. So are you ready? Okay, so the Ira Glass quote goes, "Nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone had told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste, but there's this gap. For the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good, it has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that's got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase, they quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have the special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you're just starting out or you're still in this phase, you've got to know it's normal. And the most important thing that you can do is a lot of work. It's only by going through a volume of work that you'll close the gap and your work will be as good as your ambitions. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just got to fight your way through." And that was a quote by Ira Glass, and it's one that I keep going back to, and it kind of validates us as an artist, I think, to realise that other people have gone through that thing, that disappointment in their work. We are all in that. I'm in that in terms of my finished illustrations now. I'm trying to bridge the gap between my lively, characterful, messy, scribbly sketchbooks and my finished illustrations, and I'm keeping that quote in mind. So rather than me getting disheartened when I'm bridging the gap and my finished illustrations don't have that lively quality that my sketchbooks have, rather than getting disheartened and stopping, I'm trying to put a lot of work out there. So I'll see what I like about it, see what I don't like, and just move on to the next one, try again. And like Ira Glass said, it's only by doing a volume of work that you actually start to bridge that gap. And I feel like I've already done that in my sketchbooks, and I did that through time sketches, because time sketches, like Ira Glass said, we need to put in a bunch of work. We need to do lots of work to try and bridge the gap. And time sketches gave me the tools to bridge that gap. Because before I did time sketches, I would get disheartened with my sketchbook. I would be comparing my drawings with other people's, and then I wouldn't do it because it hurt my heart. But the time sketches, that was like a magic key opening a door into a place where results didn't matter. The timing mattered. And that was what allowed me to do a bunch of drawing and start to bridge that gap. So thanks so much for asking that question, Fiona. I hope that's answered it. If anyone is listening to this and it hasn't really answered that question, or it's thrown up another question, do ask me in the comments. So before I leave you, just a reminder that if you're feeling you have an idea of where you want your work to go but you can't quite seem to make it, this is normal. And remember, no one else can tell you how to do your style. You just got to do a bunch of sketches. Make them messy, ugly, messy sketches. It doesn't matter. Just do a lot of them. And the more you do, the more your own handwriting version of your style will come to the surface. The more your brain and your hand-eye coordination will be making those shortcuts that make your interpretation of what you see. So stick at it, keep with it, and don't get disheartened. Also, just before I go, if you do watch me and you are subscribed to me, just go and double check that you are still subscribed, because I was made aware of a problem by another YouTuber that I watch, where sometimes your subscriptions are stopped by YouTube. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know if it's just a bug that they're going to fix, but when the person who I watch on YouTube mentioned it, I went and checked to see if I was still subscribed to them, and I had been unsubscribed. So it is a thing. So if you are subscribed and you do want to keep subscribed, it might just be worth double checking that you are still subscribed to the channel. No obligation, obviously. And if you're not subscribed yet and you would like to be, you are very welcome. Come and join the gang. But I'm going to leave this video here. So until the next one, bye.